So here we are. It suddenly occurred to me that rather than use this carburetor that my dad gave me last time I was over, which has actually been modified a little bit if you look at this accelerator here, I should just use the carburetor of my car. Because we know the carburetor on my car worked perfectly right. But having said that, we carted this across, 3,000 miles on the airplane, so let's just check it out. I did soak it in that oil bath, so why not check it out and see what's going on with it. And I'll bring you in closer in just a second. Let's just get the bowl off. You'll remember from previous videos with these Zenith carbs, one of these bolts has a dual purpose because it has a little square end on it, and the square end allows you to take the jets out when you lift this bowl out. Can't remember the name of the two different jets. One's like the running jet and one's a compensating jet or something. There's the square end I was telling you about. That takes the jet out in the bottom of the carb. So let's just have a look at this. There's the little float, which has a handy dandy top notation on it. And this is pretty filthy in here. Let's see it. Got a light. Let's see if I can get you in. There's the light there. See how filthy that is? Yucky. Yucky, yucky. So let's give this a quick clean out, but then we're going to use my carburetor. It doesn't look as if those jets are going to be too keen in coming out of there either. And one is quite rounded, and we've been through that trying to get those jets off, remember. This is emulsifying block which also needs to be cleaned out. Aye, aye, aye. That does not look very healthy. What about our little, the little drop down valve is working okay. And that looks very dirty in there. I think this is a case for the ultrasonic cleaner. I don't really know if we should spend any time on this whatsoever, really. Just now, I've got how many different carburetors that I need to spend some time on. So why would I spend time on this, basically? Let's let that soak in there to do a little bit of something. And then we'll come back to it another time. I think I'll just take the carburetor off my car and we'll call this game a bogey right now. We'll come back to it, right, because we'll almost certainly need another carburetor. Oh shit, put the float back in it with the little top mark at the top. Put a emulsifying block in there, the emulsion block, and then put this in here, and we'll put this on the shelf for the meantime. And we'll go take the one off my car, give it a quick clean, and I'll put it straight onto this car. It's got the correct throttle linkage on it. This one doesn't, and it's got the choke assembly and everything. So let's just do that. Anti-petrol feed pipe, fuel feed pipe, the correct banjo fitting and everything. So this goes on the shelf for the time being, along with the other one. Before I forget, this nice new piece that I got, and amongst all the spares, see the big crack in it? I'm just going to put some GB weld on that before we finish today. Now, so I took my carburetor off. I just need to remember this little ball fitting here, this little ball fitting was one of the connections I had to take off. That's the little socket that goes on top of that contraption there. I need to go put that back in the fitting it came off of, right? Unscrewed that. 2 bolts here, right? And of course the cable for the choke cable, right? There we go. I just realised that the other one didn't have the spring. This one has the spring. This is my contraption for, I don't have cork washers there. And this little sucker, what we used to call the banjo bolt, has a little mesh on it. That's the gasoline filter. That fits in there like that, right, through the banjo fitting. There's the banjo fitting. This is what I was missing in the last few contraptions that I had. So the banjo fitting fits in there like that, right, and then your bolt fits through there, and bolts into, that's your gasoline feed, right, there you go, right. Now I have a flexible connection here to the fuel pump, just because I wanted that for some reason, I can't remember why. But so that's the various connections that you can take off when you're taking your carburetor to bits. And of course there's a fibre washer, should be a fibre washer either side. There's a fibre washer that side of the banjo bolt, and there's a fibre washer that side of the banjo bolt. You can see it sitting right there. I'm just going to go and put this little socket contraption back in the fitting it came out of. FYI, I couldn't get those nuts off of the carburetor. One side, the open side, was easy to get to with my wrench, longish wrench. Up against the bulkhead though, that was too long, so I used my little tiny adjustable. That's been a godsend at various jobs on this and civil. One apart. I'm going to take this one apart, just give it a quick clean inside, and maybe replace the blue paper washers with better washers, I hope. I mean, it works, so who am I to say? Good old past Chris. I think we do need some fibre washers there. Let's have a look inside the carburetor bowl. Looks nice and clean compared to the other one we're looking at. It's actually got gasoline in it, which is a miracle. Yeah, this all looks good. Very good, actually. Very good. So, I don't think we're going to do much other than give that a little rub. Rub-a-dub-dub. 3 men in a tub. And then I'll put it back together again. Maybe a little bit of scoosh of the carb cleaner which I bought, which I put somewhere, just to clean out the jets a little bit. Why ever not? We did buy it after all. Do the same in here. And drop it. Why not? It's called carb cleaner for a reason. For cleaning carbs. Let's see it is for that. says top on the top. Pop it right in there. I think everything is pretty well set up in this, so we're not going to mess with it. If it was working, it was working. Now, what we're going to do about little fibre washers. Let's have a look. Bring in a bit closer, just so you can have a good laugh at me. Doing my usual and just winging it. I'm cutting. I don't have any fibre washers now, so I'm cutting some of this silicone again. It's all good. Try not to look too silly. Got one on already. Just a little small. This one's a little bit bigger. Oh, that's good enough. Not pretty looking. And it just split, so. Jeepers, man. Be good if I actually knew what I was doing, wouldn't it? What do you think? See, it's still skinny on one edge, which means it's going to rip. I'm going to tighten it. Dearie me. The other one took no time and it didn't rip. Put the hole more central than another one. Don't need to be very tight, it just needs to be snugged up, you know. I don't even know if there's a fibre washer on there. Anyway, it's got one now. So let's turn it around. Inlet manifold, etc., etc., etc. And offer that up there. Et voila. And I'm going to take my gloves off again. Put these butts and bolts back in. You can see it's easier to put it on when the engine's out of the car, cause the bulkhead's not in the way. But it's still awkward because these nuts won't actually screw in. I don't know if you can see that, but the nuts won't screw in unless it's actually off the manifold a little bit, because there's not enough clearance. And that is also what I found with the SU carburetor, and I was trying to fit it on the Morris Minor SU carburetor. That I had a Morris Minor SU carburetor on that Austin, my Austin, when I had it over in Scotland. But it was a bit of a it was a bit of a struggle to get it to work properly. The linkages didn't work properly and stuff like that. But once it was, once it was going, that SU carburetor was awesome on me. So I still might do an SU carburetor one of these days. But meanwhile, let's get this up and running. I don't want to tighten it very easily. Let's get this up and running with the carburetor that came off my car that we know is a good carburetor, right? You saw how clean it was. Awesome. And rest assured, I will spend some time on that other carburetor and clean it up. All of my carburetors, because it's good to have a good spare carburetor, right? Meanwhile, let's get this engine running. I was thinking of, you know, a couple of steps ahead. I'm going to take the starter off my car and put it in here as well. We don't have a really good backup starter. That starter that was on the engine we were playing with, remember, has got a paper clip on the what do you call it? Oh my god, not the bush. The thing that transmits the electricity. Oh my god, I'm losing it, man. The the brush, thank you. The carbon brush. The spring that holds the carbon brush in is buggered, so I just put a paper clip in there. And it works some of the time, and sometimes it doesn't work. So anyway, that's the carburetor on. Hee hee. I didn't take long. But let's put in our fuel feed here as well. Here it is. Let's just focus down on that a little bit. Here, right, so we are feeding in here, like that. Here, voila. And put that other carbon fibre washer on there. Can't pick it up with these gloves, of course I can't. Fibre washer, see, fibre washer on each side of that. Offer it up. Gently, gently. These are precious, these things now. Nowadays. Question is, do we leave this in here? Probably not, huh? It's gubbins. Just connect it straight into the fuel pump. What do you guys think? With no fuel filter. That's the way it was connected in my car. This actually fitted that, didn't it? Yes, it did. Snug it a little bit, not much. And I think we'll take this off and put the exact same fitting that was on my car. Why mess with it? We'll keep this contraption in case we need it. And maybe put that put the fuel filter in front of the fuel pump. We do have a gauze on top of the fuel pump as well, remember. This don't fit very well, do it? A bit longer a tube. Repurpose this. I do like these twisty Jubilee clips, those clamps. I do like them. I like them a lot. I have to send away for them on eBay because there's no O'Reillys around my neck of the woods. Let's just cut a little bit here. Just a bit there. And remember these brass fittings on this fuel pump? They came from air compressor fittings. This is a little bit. Let's put that end on first. Don't want to put too much pressure on that banjo fitting, huh? And that can slide up there as much as we want. Right. There we go. Let's not put too much pressure on that banjo fitting. Do you see that? It's all just soldered, so you've got to be kind of. That ain't gonna tighten up there very well, is it? It's going to be spewing fuel everywhere. You know, we'll tighten up to the extent we can tighten up, and then if we have a problem, we'll either put another one on there, or we'll try some other solution. Meanwhile, let's just say that's it fitted, right? So carburetor. So we're going to get fuel pump, carburetor into here. We need to put good spark plugs in there. I'll take them out that other engine. Now distributor and all of this stuff here, right, the front end, and the starter on the other end, and we're just about ready. Well, we need to flip it around, check the stuff underneath it, we need to check that, complete the sump and the oil screen and all that, right? But first of all, let's get the JB weld, and we will fix this, what is needing fixed. Remember I showed you the crack? We do have another one of these, I do believe. With no crack, but it's in a bit of a sorry state, right? But there is no crack. Can't remember, what is this for again? Is this for the, let's go have a look at my engine. I think it might be for, the fan runs through that. Going to be quite a bit of force on there. Not in this bolt per se, but on this bit here. And it won't tighten up unless that bolt tightens up. Again, I could take off my engine. I could take off that other engine as well, because that fan is fitted there. Why don't we try this and put some JB weld on it and see what it looks like, right? We said we were going to do that, let's do it. Here is the JB weld. I'll switch off until I find it. Okay, so we're going to repair this crack, or we're going to try to anyway, just by mixing up some JB weld and stuffing it in there. Generous proportions. Mix this up and shove it in the crack. That sounds very good, that does it. But that is what we're going to do. And hope that it's liquid enough to just roll in there, you know. Because it does, if you leave it, gravity does work some wonders with this stuff. It will slide in to cracks and stuff like that. I do believe I did it before. You just don't want to leave bits of it protruding into a diameter that you're going to have to get into, right? So I'll just give that a wipe off in a minute. There is a bit that is shown in the inside as well. Damn. Well, it'll be a good test of this stuff. If it actually holds up right. And we do have a backup plan. We have a plan B if we need it. Wow, it's on the inside and this side of it as well. We do need it all after all. You know what, I'm just going to plaster it in here, and if I need to kind of file it out a little bit to get the bolt in there, then I'll do that. Better to try and have this all the way through, I think. All the way through the depth of the crack, if we can get it. Let's just try and smooth that off a wee bit. Seems fair enough. See what happens with that now. Clean off the screwdriver, so you leave it on there. It's tough to get back off again. And that's it for now, so we'll leave that for 24 hours at least, a few days if you want it to get to full strength before we put that back on again. We have, I believe, fixed this. Oh, sorry, I kicked the tripod. I think we'll fix this. We've definitely impacted the diameter here, but we'll file that out. I think that'll be fine. And whether it's a strong enough fix to hold that fan, I don't know. But we do have a backup in that other one there. Sitting right here. I don't even want to touch it without my gloves, it's filthy. So we'll say we're going to use the newish looking one with the crack for now. We'll come back to that broken one if we need to. Question is, starter next or fit these guys? This nose cone was one my dad gave me. It's just from his stash of spares. The outside is actually clean on the inside, so I think I'll spend a bit of time cleaning that up. There's a stud missing here as well, and this stud is not in good condition. So I'll put you on pause for a minute and I'll start the cleanup operation on this thing. We are back, and I went through the old stock of nuts and bolts from when I took this engine apart, and I think I found the closest to this thread. I have 3 in already. I'm just checking. Some of them I'm not too keen, man, and I don't quite understand why. They should all be the same threads. They look as if they're all the same threads. But for instance, this one doesn't want to screw in. So let's take one out that we know fits. It's screwed all the way in. The others met some resistance part way in, so I'm not forcing them. I don't exactly know how far those threads go. But I mean, if I fitted in that hole, you'd think it would fit in this hole, right? You would think. Oh, there's something in there. Maybe there's something in there. It's good. I sprayed some lube in all of these. And maybe the threads are just bad. You know, who knows if everything's been refurbished. I thought at first it had all been refurbished. There's something funny about the threads in this one. Right, so let's put that back in there. This one wasn't too keen either. It did go in though. Let's see if we can just make a couple of turns without breaking anything. These are 1/4 PSF, supposedly. This was the only wrench I could get to fit. I think just the threads are a little bit dirty or something. It's possible, right? This one didn't screw in very far till I got some real resistance, so I don't want to force anything. It's virtually not in at all. I had a bad experience working on a Porsche engine. It was a Porsche 924, so it was really just a Volkswagen van engine that I was working on. But a lot of the bolts in the engine were interchangeable, and mistakenly I used the wrong length of bolt in the timing chain tensioner and it fell out. Should have used some Loctite or something. But anyway, it wasn't screwed in there enough. It fell out, chain tensioner fell off the timing, it's a timing belt I think, not a chain, and I think the valves hit the cylinder head. That was the end of that engine. After spending months building it up in the basement and then fitting it in the car and being so psyched that it started so easily, I'm pretty sure I ruined the engine. I never got around to it. I gave it to someone, a friend of mine, who eventually junked it because he couldn't be bothered working on it, unfortunately. But there you go. That was my story about not tightening up a bolt enough. So anyway, that could be the problem there as well. It's slightly, it's the same diameter, but it's a shorter bolt, this one. Let's say not make any difference, but so because I'm trying to get you in close here, I keep nudging the tripod. I do apologise for the occasional shakety shake there. Let's see if we can get this one to screw in a few threads. No. I ain't screwing in nowhere. I'm putting pressure on it with my thumb to try and force it over whatever wonky bit of thread is there in the alloy, but it's not. None too keen, my friends. Ugh. Try dropping a washer and then pick it up with rubber gloves on. Very difficult. Try to do any of this with rubber gloves on is more difficult now. Try to preserve the hands a little bit, you know. And there's something going on with those threads, huh? I'm pretty sure that thread was clean and now it's not. There's something going on in there with the threads. If I was confident, let's see, that's not going in straight. If I was confident in my tap and die set, I would run a tap through this, right? That's the proper way of doing it. Is there a way of doing that? That is not going to screw in there straight. If it's going to screw in there at all, I don't know. I'm going to go. The way I did this before with the tap and die set is I took this, found the die that fitted on this, then found the tap that went along with that. So I'll switch you off for a second and see if I can figure that out. Move you back a little bit so I'm not tripping over you all the time. I just found this in my tap and die set. Don't know if I've ever used this very effectively before, but so here's the bolt. I'm trying to figure out what size it is. So I guess I can put this against this and it'll tell me the thread pitch. I think it's 20, but how do you know that? You know that by looking at this. And I guess the grooves fit in there if it's right. So it could be 20, 16, so let's try it in the 20. I don't know if you can see that. Looks as if it's 20. I mean, I'm supposed to know. Well, the next size up's definitely not it, because it don't fit in right. The 20 seems to fit in up and down the length of the bolt. So let's say it's 20, right? So the only other decision you've got to make is the diameter of the darn thing. And I think it's 1/4 inch 20. So I was looking at a die already that was 20, but it didn't screw up very nicely. So it says 20 on it. I know nothing about these things. 1/4 inch 20 is what it says. Wouldn't that, if that was the right thread, wouldn't it just screw right on there? Oh, kind of like that. I mean, I guess it is screwing right on there. It should be as tight as that. And I don't want to ruin the threads on this, but it looks as if it's going through there pretty much, right? Shouldn't I put it in the holder? Put it in the holder. See what it does. There's little indentations on this as well that I think go where those scrooby doobies go. Maybe one of these days I should Google how to use this thing, huh? Probably help me quite a bit. And then you screw down those wee screws with the screwdriver, one would imagine. Okay, so let's say that's tight, right? And now there's my bolt threaded in there, see it? But it's not easily going through all the, so let's see if it does any damage. I'll just screw it right in there. And if it's the right, oh, it's too tight in my opinion. And look at this, it's putting a bit of swarf out already. See the swarf? So I just ruined that bolt probably, huh? Because it's not the right thread pitch. So it's not a 20. What is it then if it's not a 20? That's really weird. I don't know what that means. It's as if the first few threads that went in were fine, and then it really messed it up. Why would it do that? It makes me really nervous then to use it for the opposite number to thread it in, you know what I mean? I think I just ruined that bolt. Oh, for God's sake, tripod, stay where you are. I don't know if it's focusing in on that, but you can see the bottom half a dozen threads. Oh, the light is kind of catching it there. It's ruined the last half a dozen threads on that bolt. The first half a dozen are good. Huh. What does that mean? It means it's not a 20 pitch, right? What is it then? I'll switch off and see if I can sort this out. So this is what I've done. I've taken that bolt out. I found a nut that fit it out of the old collection of nuts and bolts. This is the 20 threads per inch TPI that goes along with this. It's a 1/4 inch NC20 it says. That's the right diameter, but of course it's sticking in there. So, you know, going by the old-fashioned idea, it should just thread right through that nut, right? If I get it straight, it shouldn't cut any threads on this, it should just thread through. If it's the right thread pitch and the right diameter. It's screwing in. No resistance until it gets up there. It's the wrong thread. I wonder if that's an old Whitworth thread or something. I mean, these are American, right? Yeah. So they won't even do BS. Didn't think about that, did I? So putting that in there ain't gonna. Yeah, that'll cut that to an American thread, which I mean I can use then an American nut and bolt. So I think I've got to just. First of all, I need to get a BSF tap and die set. Yes, that. But also, I think I need to just force this in here. And not take no for an answer, you know what I mean? It seems to be straight. Whatever's wrong with those threads, it's definitely tight. Let's take it back out again. Yeah, it's not going in straight, guys. Every time I screw it in, look, there's smush on that. Maybe I should put in this, just the pointy end to try and clean it out. Yeah, there's stuff filling that up. Can't quite see. Right. So what if I just tried to clean it with that a little bit and take it right back out again, you know what I mean? Don't mess with it too much, just try and clean the threads a little bit. And here's the doohickey, I think that's what they screw on there typically. Where do we do that? How thick is it? Yeah. So let's not rethread it. We'll just try and clean out some of the smush that's in there. Wow. Can you see that? There's smush in there. Let's do that again. And meanwhile, thread that in too much. Do any damage. Okay, so let's try it with this now. I mean, I think I'll have the same effect with screwing this in and out a few times. Huh? Maybe. Not at all confident about this, chaps. Yeah, it's not screwing in straight. That did not sound good, did it? That did not sound good. Does it matter all that much as long as we get some threads in it? Let's say it doesn't matter that much. We're getting some threads in it, and we'll try and bolt this on now. Okay. We are getting some threads on it, right? It's not an incorrect statement. So I'm going to take these off and put them on in order they come off. So let's call this 1. 1, 2. The oil pressure in these things, when you start up as a few pounds per square inch, once you're running, it drops down to like 2 pounds per square inch oil pressure. You know, so it's not a really, I know there's an oil pump, I get it, but this is not a high pressure oil system. Oh, you know, and I made an incorrect statement earlier in the video. I said this is a crank. That's obviously not. This is the crank. This pulley is run off. This cog is run off that cog, which is on the crank, right? The starting handle goes through the crank. It goes through this nose going into the crankshaft, turns that, turns this turns the dynamo, and that's how you set your timer. So now you know. Don't feel stupid. Well, I just briefly looked at some of the upload there and I said that's the crankshaft. It's not the crankshaft. It's not the crankshaft. I was thinking about it though. I'm going to put, see, I'm just doing this a little bit more than finger tight. A little bit more than finger tight is all I'm doing. Right, not much of tightness here, chaps. I mean, don't take my word for it. Go find out if there's a torque spec for these things. There wasn't even a torque spec for the big ends, right? Not from the factory. Just from the Austin 7 Friends web page. They gave me what they thought was correct, 16 pounds or something. Remember, this is screwing into alloys. It's alloy to alloy, and you're putting a steel bolt in here. You know that steel bolt will crack this crankcase right in half if you tighten up enough. It's soft alloy, in my humble opinion. It's very soft. This didn't tighten up much, this one. Now I'm going to say that's job done. Right, now, before we put this one on, should we bore out this thing, what we just messed up with, or not? Or just assume it's going to be fine, put it on here like so. Do we need to put that on there first? It's going to make it more awkward, right? So let's put this on first, with the gasket, of course. I'm just test fitting. Just test fitting, don't throw a flaky. That's a big long bolt goes down through that, which I think is normally got. They normally put a screwdriver slot on that, a slot in the head of the bolt that goes down to the big long one, right? I need to find those bolts before I do anything drastic. And you can see this is sticking up here. Ditto this. I might just carve that down a wee bit so it doesn't cause any problems with the gasket I'm going to put on there. Right, and then we put the my beautiful refurbished dynamo in there like that, see? And it runs off that cog that we were just looking at a minute ago, right? So that's the next step, but not quite yet. When you've taken out that bolt and that bolt, this was an old engine, right? This was the bolt I wanted. But of course, when you get to taking that bolt off, this whole thing goes weighs a ton. So you've got to catch it. So don't take that out last. Take one of these out last. Ugh. Anyway, now my challenge is to knock that far enough in. I got the split pin out, it was all gubbed. But this is really seized in here. I mean, it turns obviously, but it's not great. And I can't get this bolt out now. I managed to get the head of that down past that, but it ain't moving anymore. So I'll just give that a clunk and see if we can drift it out a little bit to enable me handy dandy punches. This one's good. See if we can just knock that out of there. I don't really have a lot of room to work with. Here, I'll try and do it this way. Hopefully I'll just knock it right out. Not too keen, I don't have enough hands really. That's not moving, dude. I mean, it's because this has come down, right? So can I give it past there? I've got past there, I've got up, and down into it, you know. Because we can work on that later. This pin and the fan and all that good stuff. And just get this bolt out here. You see my trouble, it didn't actually fit in there to begin with. But it moved it enough to get it out, right? So this is the illusory, and look, that I couldn't get a wrench or a socket to fit on that. There's something wrong with the nuts and bolts. Not the nuts and bolts, obviously, they are what they are. These are 80-year-old nuts and bolts. But the wrench set that I got that said it was Whitworth is not Whitworth. Or it's just not accurately made. Maybe I need to get a good set. Anyway, back to this engine. We'll get to one that I did earlier. Let's get up close and personal. This nut and bolt goes in here. That was the whole point of this, is this nut and bolt is very, very difficult to get in and out. And what I noticed, a lot of them do, I just put that in and immediately regretted it. I'm going to lose that blue washer now as well. Crying out loud. Magnet. Thank you, magnet. My little magnet. I'll get you guys in here and I'll show you what this is all about. So it's a big long bolt. And what most people do is they cut a slot in it so you can get a screwdriver to it. Put anti-seize on this part, right? And then lightly bolt it in. You don't bolt it in hard because they're just impossible to hit. My problem is, what is my problem? I don't have a problem. Let's just put a draft in that and put a slot head in it so we can screw it back out again. I'll do it using my hacksaw, I think. I'll just switch you guys off for now. Okay, so this is what I did. You can see I cut a slot in it. I just used the hacksaw. I don't have any official anti-seize compound, so I'm doing a Chris Law anti-seize compound. There you go. Here's my screwdriver. I did knock hell out of the screwdriver just recently as a punch, but I can get you guys in here close and personal. Let me convert the tripod to a handheld. Okay, so do you see this now? I'll need to switch you off for a second. Again. A bit more. Pull it by that nose cone. I broke one before, remember? So let's not do that again. This is quite a pointy screwdriver, sharp screwdriver, and it's big enough to fit way down in there. So let's say this is going to do it. I mean, I've just been bloody minded here because I cut that screwdriver slot in it. I want to see that it actually works. And it's screwing down quite easily now. I found the right screwdriver. Just make sure I can unscrew it. Yep. I mean, you can get a socket on there eventually. I did. I hammered it down into it, but you don't want to hammer things around this alloy stuff. It's very fragile. Yeah, so it's unscrewing again as well. This saw draft in the head isn't perfect. Let's let me get an off on that though. Okay, it's done. Right. This is a screw down into a stud. It's no, what's the word? It's not a nut and bolt. This last one, it's just a bolt. But I did unscrew that from another engine, so let's get that real quick. The 2 or 3 that I took out there were all the same. So let's just assume one is going to fit in, any one will fit in any hole. This is the one I took out, one of 3 that I took out the original engine. I'm scavenging all over the place here, guys, because sometimes it's just easier to take it off that engine or take it off this engine. I apologise if it's getting a bit confusing. It doesn't really matter where the nuts and bolts come from, does it? I'm saying it doesn't, right? Now this is a dodgy one, so let's try and use what I used the last time, which none of the sockets fit. It's really irritating. trying to let's turn in that bolt. I remember this being really awkward. That's why I was thinking maybe it would be better to put this top bit on before we actually screw down there. I guess it just has a long way to screw. I need to get it from the other side, guys. Hold on. Jamming my finger now? Jeez. Okay, let's just say that's tightened up. Let's just say that. Oh my goodness, what a pain this has been, right? I mean, is it just me? Maybe it's just me. Jeepers creepers. Nothing fits for the life of me. I can't even understand it. Okay. Well, we know this fits. I mean, honestly, that's what it's come down to. Yeah, I'm not going to tighten this up much. Just like the others, I'm not going to tighten them up much. Come on. I might come to regret all these decisions not tightening this up overly much, but the alloy and the little skinny nuts and bolts, and this is another brass nut. It seems fairly tight. I mean, jeepers. And this is tight already. I had a wrench that fitted that, didn't I? I've tried every one. These red handle things, don't buy them, they're crap. I think I found one or two nuts and bolts they fit. That's stripped. Anyway, we've got a good one in there, we've got a good one in there, assembly, good sort of a one in there. I've got to move things along here. It's just crazy how long this is taking me. And you know, I apologise, you're along for the ride, but I kind of made a promise to myself I wasn't going to give the illusion of ease here. Some of it's not easy, you know. I mean, there's a big problem with lack of the right nuts and bolts, lack of the right tools. And I don't imagine I'm the only one that has this problem. I mean, I guess if you go buy tools from the cherry suppliers and just pay what you got to pay, then maybe you wouldn't be having the problems I'm having. But I would think with You know, I've 2 sets of Whitworth sockets now. Most of them don't fit anything. Sorry, not Whitworth. Yeah, I've got Whitworth sockets and BS sockets. I've got metric, I've got AS, AF, American, SAE. I've got wrenches of every conceivable type, the same, and I can't seem to get any of them fit the existing nuts and bolts. There's some fit, right? I'm trying to keep the wrenches that fit by me, right? So, now our new dynamo goes in here, right? What's happening there? Oh, it's a screw. It's just a nut and bolt, bloody hell. Right, so we can just take these nuts and bolts straight off of this one that we just took off the engine, right? We could also use that distributor. I was getting a good spark out of that distributor, but I'm so tempted to use the brand new one. Why wouldn't I? Right, so let's just, that gasket finished there. Oh, jeepers. Didn't realise I was bumping you guys. So 7/16 seems a fairly ubiquitous size. But I would say 7/16 American, unless this is a wrench that I stole from the UK, which is possible. You know, my dad gave me a bunch of old wrenches to go with the Morris Minor. Oh, that's just a little short pinky one. Interesting. Assuming these are all the same size. Coming up fairly easily. Glad about that. Are they all just little short pinky ones? So you guys can see a bit better. And we're working on putting a new dynamo in there. I'm going to take the new distributor off the new dynamo because it just makes it easier to handle, right? So we're going to take that baby off of there just now. Hopefully it'll just slot right back in again. And let's put a Chrysler dod of grease on there. Why not? So we're doing it right there wrongly. I'm also putting some in there because I want to. I'm putting some grease in here as well. There's another cog in there that the distributor runs on. So let's offer up the little thing. There we go. And now, how did that work? Can't remember. Took that out of there, right? No, we didn't. No, we just took the nuts and bolts out. Right, so what did I do there? The two at the bottom. So I did it from the other side, right? I just took the nuts and bolts out of that. What was that side? So the one in the top came in from that side, right, okay. That is not wanting to go in there very nicely. This little one I'm going to keep till last. Let's put the two big ones in first. Not from the other side. Don't do that. Don't do that, little chaps. Yeah, from this side. And that one in there is going to be awkward, isn't it? That is not going in. It's interesting, isn't it? So let's leave the other big one there just now. I'll come back to that. Let's get one in. I'll just move you guys a little bit. Can you still see okay? Marginal on it. It's tough to get you close enough for all this to work, you know. So that little one might have to go in first, huh? See, it's not... It's as if it doesn't want to engage there. You know what I mean? On the delivery. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, shit. That cannot go in. I just put that big bolt in. The big bolt has to get out. See, there's a keyway there. The big long bolt keys it in position. Well, you live in Nairn, don't you? We learned something. You can't put that in without putting the dynamo in first. Okay, so take it back out again. Thank you for your patience. I bet you're glad you put that screwdriver slot in there now, Jimmy. If it'll work. Huh. If it'll work. Wow. Didn't know that. Now I know it. Thing is, will we remember it? That's the thing. For the next time we do it. Highly doubtful. Okay, so now, can we line up that gasket, please? Still don't want to go in. What's wrong with you now, Jimmy? I think it has to key into those doodly bits. Kinda feels as if it's in there now. Let's get those bolts and see if it'll at least get a couple of threads in. What do you think? I mean, it's in there. Put the big guy in. Screwing up this little guy. Little short guy. What happened to it? The little short guy. What do we do with it? I'll tell me to drop. That one. Oh, there it is. To the little short guy. Who remembers what wrench it was that fitted that damn thing? Jeepers creepers. Can we try and remember one thing and do it right? Can we try? At least one thing? That is not hidden in there. Yeah, it looks as if the gasket's lined up, so I'm just going to assume it is. Okay. What wrench fitted that again? Can we remember? I should have put that to one side, shouldn't I? Have, kinda. It made sense, don't you think? Not that one. This one. Not that one. This one. Not that one. We tried all the red things, didn't we? No. It was the 7/16, that's right. 7/16. Oh my god. Really? Is it me? Here it is, isn't it? Yes. I mean, I know it's me. You don't have to answer them. The little pinky one's going in. Yeah. Awesome. Now, this would be anti-clockwise for me. Right? Come on, baby. I'm sure that was in a couple of threads before, wasn't it? Yeah. Let's go now. This one. Where is it? Can we even see it? What? Where? Oh, it goes in from the other side, doesn't it? Bloody hell. So we're still, well, let's get these, can we tighten these a little bit? Tighten them a little bit. How much? And then I think we should get a stamp handle on this and just turn it a few times and make sure that it's actually going to do what it's supposed to do, right? I think that would be awfully smart. Yeah, that's definitely screwing in. Okay, that's a 7/16. If that's 7/16 American, why won't just a regular 7/16 fit? I need to thread that bolt through there, which I cannot do. How the hell are you supposed to put that in there? Honest to God. These Austin engineers are making their asses kicked, man. I don't understand how you would do that. Little skinny wrench. At least I'll get it started. Nope. I don't know where that fits in there. So he's supposed to screw that in. I don't understand. How do people do this? Back in the day. A special little box wrench that fitted that. Again, you put a screwdriver slot in it or something. You put the dynamo on the alloy piece before you put the alloy piece on the nose cone. Your guess is better than mine, my little friends. Let's see. I can thread this through by some hook or crook method. And I can to about there. That's going straight, right? But as soon as I hit that alloy piece, we're screwed. Oh right, that almost made it up in there. Oh, there we go. Wow. Can actually fit something on that now. What about another extension bar? I have to dance round about you again. So. Wowzers. Did we actually find some way of fitting that damn thing? This is a 3/8 Right set. It's a 7/16 AF socket. It did actually fit. And it's two little 2-inch extensions put together. Probably a little flexible knuckle in the middle. Might make this easier, but it did actually squidge in there with the bolt attached, and I'm managing to screw it up. You would need to write that down somewhere, right, and keep it handy that this is how you put that bolt in. At least I'll have a video I can look back on how I did it and remind myself. There you go. Tightening it somewhat. Is it tight? Not quite yet. It is tightening up there. There you go. Wow. There you go. That's how it's done. Of course, that's how it's done. Jeepers, as if we didn't know that, darling. As if we didn't know that. You need some wiggle room in the joints of these things. That's the secret, I think. See the wiggliness? Don't wiggle it too much, Christopher. I don't like it. The engine stand just cracked. Wood that the engine's mounted on. Righty ho. Well, that worked. Did you notice how I did that? So it's a 3/8. Two wibbly wobbly, so it could bend round corners basically. The electric one would not have worked there. I need to get this off. I don't like the way that cracked. The wood, you know, I had to adapt this engine stand because it's not small enough for an Austin 7. And it's wood, and a bit of it just cracked. I don't like that very much, I can tell you, for nothing. I don't like that much at all. This socket, of course, is not the right size. It's almost the right size. But once it's on, it doesn't want to come off again. It was me bouncing that engine up and down that made that wood crack, so. Dearie me. I need to check the engine stand now. Come on, off you go. For God's sake. Come on. Now you see why people zoom through this stuff, don't show you the real deal, because it's embarrassing how difficult some of the simplest tasks are. If you don't have the right tools, if you don't have the right skill sets. My dad always used to say a bad tradesman blames his tools. I'm not a tradesman, so I think it is true though. I need to move you guys back again. I do apologise. Move this in a little bit. Let's have some breathing. Right underneath the tool thingamabob, of course, it had to be exactly the most awkward place. Anyway, we got it done, dudes. 7/16, remember 7/16. If in doubt, just holler, yes, 7/16. Tighten down this big bolt again. And now let's get the starting handle real quick, and we'll give that a couple of turns and make sure. Anyway, those I have to make sure those turn. Okay. So forgive me for a minute. I shall go get the starting handle. Oh, wait a minute. You know what's missing. You stupid ass. There's a thing that goes inside there to turn the engine. Oh, you silly, silly man. Big long keyway, right? Ah, jeez. Why didn't you say something to me that I forgot about the thing? What is it? What does it look like? Because that starting handle ain't going to turn nothing. Let me tell you something. Nothing. Your box. Nothing. Wow. Just shows you what I know. Absolutely nothing. Anyway, we can turn this engine over with the flywheel. Right, let's take a plug out. Reduce the compression a little bit. What are we looking at here? There we go. I'm going to turn this over, put that flashlight on again, down in here, because I can see the cogs even if you couldn't see the cogs. This one. Right. And we'll turn it. I've taken the plug out to reduce the compression a wee bit. I just want to make sure that's engaged and turning. It is indeed. I mean, once I put the distributor in there, that'll be another confirmation that the thing is turning okay. So let's just do that real quick, and then I think I'll call it a night. Now that I've completely messed this up, right, we forgot there's a big shaft with a spring that goes in there, which means I would need to take all of this back off again. Oh my god. Unless we just make do without the starting handle right now. I say we put it together, get it to start and everything else, and if we really want to, we can take it all apart again. Oh man. How long did that take me? 2 hours to put that on there? Of course I had to go and get all the nuts and bolts and thread this through, cuts. Oh my god. But I mean, I don't have the pulley on yet, so what would I have to do? I'd take that one out, leave this on. That's bolted down into this, I know it's into the block, isn't it? That's into the block too. Yeah. So we need to take those two out and just take the whole thing off, right? Put the rod and the spring in there and put it back in again. That's all there is to it. Yeah, wouldn't you take this off first? Honestly. Let's put some grease on it. It's actually got some grease on it. I'm going to put more grease on it. The real mechanics are probably saying, put so much grease on that. Okay, I'm putting grease on it. You know, I remember missing out an O-ring in a Beetle when I was doing this before, and it was a disaster, man. You could not miss out that O-ring on the distributor shaft, if you can see this. In the Beetle there's an O-ring, there's a little groove somewhere. There's an O-ring, a rubber O-ring you have to put in. God help you if you don't put that in. The oil spews everywhere. Doesn't seem to be an O-ring in an Austin 7 distributor, and the oil doesn't piss out. I don't know why. Right. So, but there is something missing there, isn't there? Yeah, our little collar here, right, is missing. So I have to put that in before we put that in. don't we? Let's have a look inside here. I seem to remember that we opened this up and it was like Pandora's box. It was just most beauteous. It does have a set points and a condenser in there. Old style condenser. Button it back up again. We have new acorns for it. But we also have a perfectly good distributor cap from the other one. So I'm not that bothered about it, but we do need that little piece there. So we're going to do that tonight. Let's do it tonight. So it's getting close to dinner time, chaps, so I'll spend too much more time with you, much as I love it. So we're just going to take this distributor off of here. The cap back on it, and we will keep it for another day. I think I'll just get that right out there. Or not. I think there is something else, isn't it? Yes, there's this little fill. We'll probably need that as well, won't we? Probably. Take that right out there. Put it somewhere safe. I think we probably need that. Take this out. Some beautiful distributor as well. And we need this little baby. 7/16, I hear you say. I do believe you're correct. Look at that. So, whoop-de-doo. So, that goes there. You're looking at the dyno, right? And put that little baby on there, like that. And then we're going to find where that other wee bolt goes and put that in as well. Come on, just put it in there. We know you want to go in. There we are. Come on. What's wrong with you? You don't want to go in there? Why don't you want to go in? There's nothing stopping you. Drop that, why don't you? Yeah, there's a little doohickey in there. Doohickey in there. Little of encouragement. Drop that. Do drop this, because you need it. Come on. Concentrate, Christopher, you're almost there, dude. If we can get this distributor just in place tonight, we'll call it a night and we'll start again next time. I'm not promising tomorrow, a lot going on tomorrow, but we will do another one very soon, right? Let me take these gloves off. They're driving me round the bendishness. Okay. That still doesn't want to tighten down for some bizarro reason. There you go. It just didn't want me to use my fingers. I have to go and start dinner soon. We're feeling like some curry tonight, so that will be fun. There's that little bolt that I just took out, remember that? And you don't screw that in too far until you have your distributor in there. No, not at all if you can't get it in. Funny, very funny, very, very funny. Let's just compare those two distributors for a little momento. Right, so, because I'm pretty sure they're two different numbers. There's a DK4A, the one that I'm just going to put in, and the one that I took out is DK4A. Right, so both identical actually. Identical, look. Not quite identical, see that? Those cogs are a little bit different. It's beyond me. I'm just going to go, the one that I got with this engine, I'm putting in there. And what I remember is that was, this was towards the starter. I don't think, you know, that does make a difference. Look, that's going to hit there. You see that? There's a little doohickey on there that limits the amount of movement that can have. Because that's fixed in place, see that? So what's that for? That's not on the other one. What is that? Oh, it is on the other one. Look, it is on there. Oh, what the hell was that? You see that? This little post here? I've never noticed that before. What on earth is it? I don't know, but this was a carefully built up distributor, if you may remember, because I had to steal parts from various different things to make that work. Let's just screw this in a little bit. Distributor's in.